All right, y'all. We back again with another video. I wanted to go over this real quick. This video just dropped of Kanye being on Clubhouse with WACK 100. I want to shout out to this guy's channels again. GEDDY Radio. Y'all go ahead, like, subscribe. You know, this guy has a lot of great content he makes from Clubhouse. I just want to say fair use disclaimer. This is for educational purposes. Educational purpose for myself and the masses. You know what I mean? Just got to go ahead and throw that out there so they don't try to take down my video. Also, these dudes won't hate on my content that I'm trying to create and piggyback off of. You feel me? My fault, y'all. You know, my fault for using y'all content. You know what I mean? But y'all make it for a reason. You know what I mean? Help a brother, help a brother, help a brother. You feel me? You feel me? I'ma stand on y'all shoulders. Y'all stand on the previous people's shoulders. And then some people gonna stand on my shoulders after me. You feel me? We gotta work together, y'all. We gotta work together, y'all. But I wanted to go over this video. Like I said, Kanye was just recently on Clubhouse. I was able to catch like a good 10-15 minutes of it. I believe it is still going live, but I wanted to start over so I can, from this guy's video, watch some of the content that I wasn't able to see. Like I said, I was able to watch 10 minutes of it. Kanye was kind of going in. We'll go ahead and watch a few other videos. Interviews Kanye has done. I know I went over a couple of interviews with Alex Jones, with Fred. What's his name? Lex. I can't think of the guy's name. Lex. I don't want to say Friedman. For some reason, Friedman come to mind, but correct me if I'm wrong if that's not his name. But Lex something. And so I got a couple of videos on the interviews they did. Kanye has did with those two gentlemen. Great content. If you haven't watched those interviews in its full form, I would definitely go ahead and go recommend it. Lex Friedman, we're gonna go with that. I believe is his name. I believe still has the video up on his channel of the conversation he had with Kanye. I would definitely recommend watching the full video. I would also definitely recommend going to Infowars.com and watching that interview he had did with Alex Jones. What's up? Who knocking? What's up? I hear the Kanye in the background. You know, fair use. This is for educational purposes. You feel me? What's up, baby?
He was just getting in my room when the last song was playing, and he said, "On God."
Oh yeah, he said, "On God." He was dancing or what?
Yeah. I'm like, what the?
He was turned up. My fault, y'all. That was my daughter. You know, she was in there cleaning her room, bumping some Kanye. For some reason, she been on the Kanye little wave these past couple of weeks. I listen to him frequently, not very often, but I do listen to Kanye frequently. But the last couple of weeks, she been wanting to listen to his music, which I think is great. Today we've been listening to Kanye all day, and then I get home and his video dropped. You know what I mean? Which is good. I feel it's kind of like a sign. Might not make any sense to y'all. But I look at it as a sign. You know what I mean? I'm a huge Kanye fan. Been following some of his content and things he has done over the last couple of years. Great music. You know what I mean? His clothes, not really too interested in. His shoes, never owned a pair of any shoes Kanye has created. Not to knock him or his creative ideas, but some of it just ain't really ain't really my style. But He does have his hand in a lot of stuff. I'll go ahead and get into this get into this interview. For everybody who's watching or does watch this eventually, please like, subscribe, comment, all that other stuff. I would also go ahead and shout out the videos I am watching from YouTube and recommend those channels as well. Like I stated, this guy. Great content, great interviews. Great content he gets from interviews, or I don't even want to call them interviews because it's on Clubhouse, but from the rooms on Clubhouse, and this is one of them. We'll go ahead and get into this video, and like I said, we'll get into some of the other Kanye interviews he has recently done, just to break those things down and kind of get into the discussion. I would like to have a discussion back and forth, you know what I mean, with you guys. But once this channel gets built, you know what I mean, I ain't got no views, they ain't got no subs, they ain't got nothing. But once this channel start taking off, you know what I mean, we'll go ahead and have a dialogue about some of the content that we do go over. I'll go ahead and get this started.
And we have opioid crises.
Hopefully it's loud enough for y'all.
Instead, so we're gonna start right there. Defund all.
We'll go ahead and get into it.
Federally funded.
And like I said, we'll go ahead and get into some of the other interviews he did, just to discuss some of those topics.
In New York City. That's 2022. Also, the #1 cause of death for Black people is abortion by far. Over anything you could think of.
I'm gonna go ahead and let the video ride. I'll probably pause it every once in a while. You know what I mean? Drop my 2 cents.
All of these things.
You know how niggas do. You know, we always gotta put our 2 cents in the shit. You feel me? That's what we here for. I'm gonna share my thoughts on this shit. Y'all share y'all thoughts on this shit, and we'll talk about it. You feel me? Finna go ahead and my fault. Let the video ride. I'm gonna roll up real quick. We'll spark up real quick.
We have to focus.
Already rolled
on
up.
Our country.
I would highly recommend y'all do the same. You know, kick
Ford,
our feet up.
Apple.
Listen to
Disney,
Kanye.
McDonald's. You know, just America. America is the youngest startup in history. So, you know, when I hear the
inventors, it's funny. My fault. I know I said I was gonna let the video rock, but I had to say something just because. What's up, baby?
Come eat.
I'm cool. I'm gonna eat after this video. Okay. You wanna come say hi to the people for me real quick?
Yeah.
This is my daughter. She in here interrupting me and stuff. You feel me? Trying to be nosy. She low key like Suge Knight. I mean, not Suge Knight. She low key like Puffy, trying to be all up in the videos, dancing, and you know what I mean. But it is.
I'm trying to dance. I'm trying to talk to you.
It is what it is. Love you.
Love you too.
But yeah, y'all know how kids is. You know, they see you doing something and they wanna come in and join. And like I say, I like putting my 2 cents in. She do too. You feel me? So I gotta allow her come in and have her bless my content with her beauty. But just like Kanye was saying, I wanted to get into a lot of ways he phrases things. I'm kind of taken back by, because I don't ever really look at it. You know what I mean? Kind of in that lens. He said something, nothing.
Black people is abortion by far.
Not nothing too crazy.
Now gone away, and we have opioid crises.
To me, it's like it's how he says it. It kind of gives you another perspective. You know.
Federally funded abortions. More Black people are aborted than born at this point in New York City. That's 2022.
It's crazy.
Also, the #1 cause of death for Black people is abortion by far. Over anything you could think of. Over any type of crime, heart disease,
genocide,
drugs, police, all of these things. Suspend all foreign aid. We have to focus on our country. You know, we are the inventors.
Camera quality already shitty. Ford, can't have smoke flying around.
Disney, McDonald's.
Y'all bear with me.
Just America. America
turn this shit up.
The youngest startup in
That's what
history.
It was.
So, you know, when I hear the inventors,
that's what it was. Shit like that. Going back to what I was saying, he says things or phrases things. You know what I mean? That kind of make me look at it from a different perspective. And something so simple like that, most people may hear that and may not think much of it, but saying it or labeling America as a startup, like I said, it just gives me a different perspective, because a startup is, you know what I mean, startup companies, usually have um, investors. Some of those investors are big people. Some of those people are just, common, regular, everyday folk like we are, that may invest, 20, 30, $40 into the startup just for a little part of it or whatever. Some people may come in and invest more money into the startup to help it get off. So that's how a lot of small companies start up. But looking at America like that, it's kind of, like I said, it just kind of gives you a different perspective on it, because there's so many other nations. You know what I mean? Like they say, America is a melting pot. It's so many other nations that has came to America and been a part of America for multiple centuries now. You know what I mean? So their DNA is kind of, you know what I mean, engraved in in what America is. But to think of it as a startup, like I said, it's a bunch, people coming together. You know what I mean? Throwing in their funds. Excuse me, I got the hiccups like crazy. To get a company off and to look at America like that is kind of the same way, since so many people, so many other countries and nations have been involved in the building and creating America into what we see America as today.
Minds coming out of these colleges, the people who know how to create energy from tires, alternative energy sources. Like Tesla said, the earth is a giant generator. And then Commonwealth Edison basically started electrocuting animals in the street. And then Tesla died without a penny trying to sell a nuclear bomb. But the information that he had would have freed us all. So I always say, like, what if Tesla, had an Instagram? How much more free would our people be right now? Then you got the original BLM.
That's another thing. Think about shit like that, yo. You know what I mean? Like something like that would have never crossed my mind. Nikolai Tesla having access to Instagram, and what he mean by that is just having access to reach the masses instantly, or to reach a lot of people in a short period of time. Instagram, you can post something. Everybody may not see that post, but the post can be shared. You know what I mean? So some people who may not even be following you may have access to it, but you can also direct message people. You can go live. You know what I mean? It's a lot of ways you can go with that, and just what social media has become. You know what I mean? If Tesla had access to something like that, you know what I mean? Free electricity wouldn't even be something common right now. That's what's so crazy, because if I'm not mistaken, Tesla been dead for, I don't even want to put that on that man, so I'm gonna look into it. But he been dead for a minute, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, that's even surprising to me. Born 1856, died 1943. That's crazy. Died in 1943. 1943. I would have thought he would have died, you know what I mean? Early. Like whenever I think of or hear a Tesla, I don't think I don't think 1900s. You know what I mean? Maybe that's just me, but I don't think 1900. I think late 1800s. You know what I mean? And late 1800s ain't too far from the difference from 1900, but from 1943, 1943, 43. When did when did that's what that's around. Matter of fact, that's around the world wars. Blah, blah. World wars. That's around the world wars, if I'm not mistaken. I think the first world war was like early 1900s. I want to say 1920 something, in the 20s for some reason. I'm gonna look into that too. But just him saying that, you know what I mean? Like, goes back to saying, like, he just say sometimes some things. It's not like, he's saying something super outrageous and intelligent, but like I say, it's just how he words things that makes you look at it just from a different perspective. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. That's all my point is. You know what I mean?
It's not Black Lives Matter, it's Bureau of Land Development. I know about that because I got over 13,000 acres in America. I got 300 acres in
13,000.
Calabasas. I got property in Malibu. I've got over 12,000 acres
That nigga Ye been buying
in
land.
Wyoming, multiple properties. And it is very difficult to build. So that forces us into TikTok, into Second Life, into an alternative version of the real world. And the real world is the real video game. That's on earth. It shall be on earth as it is in heaven, like we pray. But if we've got the Bureau of Land Development blocking developers, and that's not even me, it's like a celebrity, coming from music attempting to build homeless shelters and cities of the future. I'm talking about straight up good old boys like Catholics, that can't even build in America right now. So those are some of the main ones.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Definitely, America first. I really appreciate that. Now, this is definitely going to be a really spicy question. I want to know, what was your intention when you signed the document to meet with Putin to free Brittany Griner?
My intention, my position is that America should seek peace with all of our adversaries and free all American prisoners held abroad. I had no interaction with the Russian government.
Come on, Kanye.
I didn't accept any favors, no money, or any compensation. I signed the document for public distribution and plan to consult the State Department before the meeting.
And for the record, Ion, I was the one that walked that to Ye. There was never a direct to Ye. I was the one contacted, had the conversation with him, and then forwarded the conversation to the people that was representing him on his side. So everything, even the logistics and the wording of the contract, was done by me, and I forwarded over to him. So there was never any direct, even to date, right? It was Russian to WACK. WACK
Yak.
to
I
Ye,
thought this
Ye
nigga
back
Yak.
to
I
Ye,
combine
Ye
their
back to
names.
Ye. So that's the order and all that document.
That's it right there, Yak. That's it right there. When them two together, they Yak. Something gonna go crazy. When you on that Yak, y'all niggas know about that Yak.
Wow, that's super dope. Thank you so much. So Brittany Griner was sentenced to 8 years in Russia, per penal colony. What was your position on America's prisons, and how can they improve?
Well, they start building prisons off of third grade reading scores. Like, let's soak that in for a moment. Meaning that everything,
like I say, he say some shit, kind of give you a different perspective.
Designed.
But sometimes you don't even understand that perspective.
Our education system. And when someone has a low reading score, they automatically say in third grade, this person is going to prison. Imagine that teacher-parent meeting right there. People were just that literal. You go in and your son or daughter got a low score, and they said, well, Miss Jackson, your daughter's going to prison. You're like, she in third grade. But that's the reality of the development of that, let's say, Kyrie documentary Slave Boat. Let's use different kind of words, right? So, we don't get deplatformed, right? Of how that slave boat has never ended, and the prison system is another version of that. And then we talk about rehabilitation, but how is it rehabilitation if we weren't provided the abilities in the first place? So let's say habilitation through information. The information is purposely held from us. The literacy, they'll have you reading Moby Dick, but won't teach you how to read and understand a contract, knowing damn well you headed to the NBA or that you're going to be in entertainment in some way. So that makes it where you never have, if you can't have a grasp of actually what you're signing,
that makes so much sense.
Won't,
that makes so much shit. That makes so much shit. My fault. That makes so much sense. I mean, I feel like I can read pretty well. Don't really have no college education. Got through high school fairly easy. Could have done better if I would have applied myself more, but I think I could have excelled in high school if I would have applied more. Just as far as doing due diligence, homework, you know what I mean, shit like that. just a little more, but that's beside the point. But I still come across some stuff, documentations where it's worded in a way where you can't understand, or it's hard for you to understand if you are skimming through. You know what I mean? Or you just like reading it to read it. If you're not used to, the perfect examples, credit cards. You know what I mean? When you get your statement, and you know what I mean, like you can read it, but it's worded a certain way. You know what I mean? Like you gotta like, what are they really trying to say? You know what I mean? Just by how it's worded. And I'm pretty sure record label contracts, you know what I mean, are kind of the same. It's worded a certain way when it's like, what they trying to say right there, what they, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of terminology that's not common in them too, which comes to another, thing about understanding contracts. You can read the little credit card things you get, and they're trying to it's like advertisement for credit. Oh, you may pre-qualify for whatever, but that small print, they always tell you about that small print, you know what I mean, where the APR, you know what I mean, like it's written a certain way. It may have some terms in there, you know what I mean, some terms you may have heard, you know what I mean, you may have seen, but you really don't know what they mean. You know what I mean? That makes sense, because the meaning to a lot of things, you know what I mean, we may know a word, but may not fully understand the meaning. And even going back to, you know what I mean, stuff like the credit cards and, you know what I mean, statements, it's worded a certain way and may have, you know what I mean, words in there whose meaning is, you know what I mean, can be a little different if you haven't really looked into it yourself.
All of your life. So these become other versions of prisons. So the prison system isn't just actually where Larry Hoover
that's how I feel about
it's
what
also
just said right
the bank
is
a prison system, because they got my money locked up as we speak. They literally put a freeze on my account. They put a $75 million hold on 4 different accounts. And it was, the funny thing was, I was complaining about my service. I was like, I put 140 million into Chase. Let me go to Chase. This is, one of the two biggest
that's
banks in
another
America.
thing a lot of people don't.
And I had met with Jamie Dimon
don't really
when I was a good
think about too much in regards to Kanye. You know, they say,
early on into my Adidas deal.
But
second I start banging on the desk, like,
he
I
rich
or
he's not rich anymore, or like he's still up.
I want my money to make money. This is enough money.
It's just crazy
for
that
me and my family to never have to work.
We'll get mad if somebody owed us
to work on homeless shelters and regenerative.
You know what I mean? If they locked our account, they only had
all the other things,
$1,000. You know what I mean? You talking about millions upon millions, and not only one account, but multiple accounts.
So rude,
nigga, I can't imagine how pissed I would be.
Crazy.
I couldn't imagine how pissed I would be, boy. My account was to be froze now, man.
And I got $140 million. And the
it's Christmas time.
What about all the people that got debanked for their political opinion? And that's what was happening. They were dealing with it. People like, there's a time when you would have thought that I said the H word.
Think about how you feel when you're
wearing a red hat.
Now
you're looking up, and people are like, wow, we really were making more money at that time. Wow, it's like the economy is messed up again. So people can see things clear as day. Like liberals, the Democrats don't even like Biden at this point. They're like, what are we gonna do? I know, because I used to be married to a Democrat, so that's claims she's bipartisan, but 100% be doing dinners with Hillary. So it's all forms of these prisons. All these contracts are forms of prison. But let's get directly to these prison systems. And me and people are working on our potential. I don't say run, I say walk to the office in 24. My perspective is the Bible says thou shalt not kill. In earlier times, there were Catholics who were into the death penalty, latter less into it. I'm learning more about the Catholic. I'm just straight up Christian. I believe that Jesus did enough by dying for us. Catholics feel, we could add something to the table. It's kind of, I think Chris Rock had a joke about that. That was like, okay, you made all the millions, and your girlfriend's like, man, but I brought this steak to this place. But that's something I go back and forth. Our Christian humor would be going back and forth on whether you need acts or if him sending his only begotten son was enough for us to get to heaven. But that's just all like Christian humor. I'm a new Christian anyway. Apparently I don't know enough about God yet. I'm told this all the time. But back to what we're saying on the death penalty. There's so many. I got a letter yesterday from a white gentleman, because apparently white lives, I guess, don't matter. But this is a white gentleman, because I said white lives matter, and all of a sudden I got 4 stadium shows canceled. I had what's the place where the Rams play? I was gonna make that my living room for a couple nights, and they how I do, because I put a bed in the middle, go to sleep, and people watch it. So so I was gonna make the stadium my living room for a little bit, and then I wore the White Lives Matter T-shirt, and apparently I didn't know White Lives didn't matter. So I wore the T-shirt, and it's interesting because a white gentleman wrote a letter to me from prison, and just talking about how he was wrongfully accused, how he was living a normal life in college, and they got all of this evidence, and he's still locked up. So let's get to death penalty. Not only can people be wrongfully accused, with our judicial system, people could be wrongfully executed. So until we take the time to really
getting content
check
from other
the
YouTube
DNA
creators
and
as
put
well.
the,
So
put
talking to me. What
people
animal
with
is
Christian
this?
values. Now, I'm
Buffalo.
tired of this moral
Where's my
compass
buffalo?
conversation.
Don't tell me it is a
Yak.
I was gonna guess a yak. Let me see. Okay. Shout out to the yak. Hold on. Let me get it on the camera.
Camera?
Shout out to the yak.
Okay, I'm gonna close the door.
Thank you.
Caleb Productions.
Hey,
Appreciate you.
I'm a good person,
Forgot what I was
and
talking about, but
I'm in a different place.
that's my girlfriend's
I'm
son.
in a different place. Me and God, we got a good
He has an
relationship.
infatuation with
That ain't
animals,
no good relationship. You
and
just
he
don't want to
knows.
listen to him. That's not a good relationship. Oh,
Man,
I got a
I'd be
good
amazed
relationship with
sometimes.
God. No, you don't. You up here not trying to listen to God, right? And these are the kind of people that are setting our laws with the corrupt system, right? So then we're gonna have the death penalty. We gotta remove certain things. Like people will ask me, like obviously, I'm pro-life, life period, life from, from pro-life on babies being born to no death penalty, but also, we can't immediately apply any kind of laws to abortion. And I know all my writers are going to be like, wait, what are you talking about? Until we present an alternative. Because people who
Yeah,
go to get these abortions
that's
feel that
real.
there's
That's the
no
biggest thing
alternative. They
about it.
like, people don't just
I'm
act.
so happy he said that because I feel that's a big thing about it. Like I do understand. I know a lot of people think the my whatever you want to call it, but when it comes to women's rights, whatever that phrase is, my body, you know what I mean. Um, but I feel like they should have a choice. Um, but I feel like um, it should be based off something. I feel like there should be more things in place. Excuse me, um, for people to you know what I mean, better foster cares. You know what I mean, and by better, maybe even more. You know what I mean, better quality as well. Just a better system overall. And if they're not in foster care, I mean, if they are in foster care, like I think they should still receive, um, a great education from that time being in there. You know what I mean? In that service, or until they get picked, or if they do or don't. Great education, great way of living, and access to things every other kid should have. So it should be more things in place for foster care, but for even incentives for women and also men. I feel like big for men too, because if we are um, responsible for a life, and there are laws set in place to where there are benefits for certain people. You know what I mean? They got the you know taxes and stuff like that. It should also be benefits for me. Maybe the first 5 years of a kid. You know what I mean? Incentives for that, whether it's food stamps, um, free child care, um, access to a free child care, a good free child care. But just a lot of shit between those lines, man. And in regards of the woman choosing to abort, or if she may not want to abort, but may not want to keep the baby because of certain circumstances. Um, the dad should have an option. You know what I mean? And if so, should receive certain benefits as well: food stamps, health care. You know what I mean? Maybe even um, higher tax. Uh, uh, Claim for for children as well. But just there should be more things in place if they are going to take, you know what I mean, the right to abort, or the ability. I don't want to say right, but the choice to abort. Um, Away from people, both men and women, and also things like possibly therapy during that process, better education. I feel like the education on that isn't the best at all. You know what I mean? You don't um, really receive too much in regards to I don't want to say raising. Maybe they do have classes. I don't want to say raising, but just more on those steps. First couple of years, teething solutions. A lot of this stuff is like word of mouth, but you can't really go to some place and what I mean, maybe see and observe, or maybe try different other techniques and stuff. But just on what to do and stuff like that. Even constipation. Like I remember when my daughter was a baby. What I mean. I had to look up shit on YouTube to find out how to relieve. What I mean, for constipation. I also had family members who kind of told me the same information, but hearing something. And if you haven't done it or seen it, what I mean, like trying to visualize it, what I mean, may be kind of difficult. So it was kind of one of those things. So, I had to look it up and, look up a couple of different ways. But even shit like that, man. And I guess we do have access to YouTube. So, what I mean, it is possible, but I don't know. There should definitely be more things set
want
up.
to have their children. We are put into places where we never got our reparations. We're put in boxes. We're gerrymandered.
We already
and we don't feel like we have no other opportunities.
I don't even want to say far behind,
before
because
I step into the monasteries and this thing that God has set on my heart,
but
like
they
it's
put up so
like
many
it's Noah's Ark right here.
other
We got to
obstacles
say, in
in front
the
of
judicial
us.
system, I got to learn a bit about the judicial system when I was getting debanked and sued and attempted to be bankrupt. Ari Emanuel, he thought he had me, bro. God must love me. And who could like lose $2 billion and still be worth $400 million? I looked up. I was like, I know Forbes didn't want to have to write that. I know they wanted to write like a negative, and I was like, man. And I told y'all probably heard me say in other interviews. And what I know, I've given you bits and pieces about the about my perspective on prison,
UPT, salute.
how everything is a scope. I started at the third grade. Then I went to wrongfully incarcerated people. Then I went to how you can be wrongfully executed. So
more detail.
Clear, we have a scope for where we're going. Because you're probably like, yeah, how you going? The thing is, this is not a two-dimensional black and white existence that we're in. So to have to deliver messaging about full creations inside of sound bites is not fair to who we are as human beings. Only 30% of our language is verbal, and there's nothing whiter than English itself. It's literally English, right? So we're not even speaking in our native tongues on a platform that's not our native platform.
Ray Gibbs, salute.
So we're already still inside of some boxing rink, inside of some, and when we're in combat with each other, we're in some type of Mandingo competition, beating each other down, and not even on our platform. And when it's all said and done, we still don't own the block, or on the platform, or on the bank, or on the distribution center, or on the manufacturing. Like I built the first, sportswear manufacturing company since World War II in Cody to bring jobs back. And meanwhile, people are just going in, moving my equipment. They move the equipment to LA. They take my name off of it, put somebody else's name on it. So by the time I'm in a situation where I'm finally out of,
Welcome to GEDDY
out of the Adidas thing, I'm having to go start from scratch, go get EVA machines from scratch, go design the slide from scratch. And I'm happy about it, but boom, there goes another prison system. You get these collusions. You get these lawyers, right? When I was going through my divorce contracts, I had 3. We're not going to say what hospital it is. We're not going to say who the lawyers are. We're not going to say what it is. You know what I'm saying? You know it is. But, and they just picture like I got the green jacket on, right now. We're not going to say who it is. So, and they was just looking over stuff. They was like literally just going to give them the custody of the kids to the, you know what I'm saying? Like we had to go line by line. And
fair use disclaimer
really
as
understand
well.
what does it mean that the award goes to the practitioner? What do all these things mean? I think we ain't never used the word practitioner in the studio. We ain't never used the word ball court. They never mentioned practitioners in Wakanda 2, where they killed all the dads and now the moms running, you know what I'm saying? Like, just like they did in real life. Man, I mean, y'all could have just made Michael B. Jordan be Black Panther. Like, you really had to. So, I go ahead, man. You know.
Got you. So I have another question for you. So, what are your thoughts on people blaming you being outspoken as mental illness?
I love when Lil Uzi told me, crazy ain't crazy than crazy. Meaning, we are in a crazy society. This is Game of Thrones. If you look at the situation we in, the percentage of us going to prison, the percentage of us being aborted, the fact that they can like Adidas can come at me like that, and your friends, quote unquote, like Pusha T could stand right next to an Adidas sign right after they done that. You get what I'm saying? Like, we're living in crazy environments. I could put up, hey, I don't have
Push
an
one of my
address
favorite rappers
to
too.
my daughter's birthday
That's crazy.
on her birthday, and
He
that
gonna
one
let
of
he
these
you know what I mean? He
celebrities
call everybody
speak
out
up.
though.
These are crazy, right? And then,
I don't think there's
you know, if
anything
you
wrong
really
with that.
look at
You know
the
what I mean?
things
If
that
you
I'm
got something
talking
on your
about, a
mind,
lot
that
of people
I
feel
feel like we
like
should
me.
get better at
So
doing
what's the
or
crazy
trying
part?
to, you know,
What I'm saying,
express
or the fact
ourselves
that I'm
in
willing
this
to
type
say
of
it?
ways. Like, just because you saying something don't
No, I
mean
definitely
you gonna
appreciate you.
deal with somebody. Like, it's just what
Well, I
happens.
guess we both crazy because I'm gonna say the shit.
Yeah,
Hey,
and
if
I'm
I got,
crazy too.
yeah, if I could add one part to that,
Yeah, that's Captain Tazariak. He's an Israelite.
I
My
appreciate
Oh,
it.
good
Figured
brother.
that was him.
God bless.
Hey, God bless you too, brother. I think that was a beautiful question, and what I wanted to ask you, do you think they intentionally misunderstand you, so then that everyone else would then also be able to begin to misunderstand you? So when you start doing things that are clearly intelligent thinking, people will already be predetermined to, okay, Kanye's just
He
crazy,
owns
so we're just
something.
gonna
Yeah.
ignore him. Like, what do you think of that?
Yeah, on this bullshit again.
I gotta say, God bless Kyrie, because he never had a MK Ultra Canadian intelligence trainer that was connected to multiple
That
celebrity
was crazy.
mental health and deaths, from Aaron Carter to old girl from Clueless. Um,
Her
I didn't
husband.
even want to say her
so
name.
so what I'm saying is Kyrie
Billy
showed
McGill,
you
salute.
the energy
I
of
didn't even want to
change
say
that can
Stacey
happen
Dad's name.
just by two of us standing on something we believe in at one
Probably because
time.
of his
How many
relationship
times
with
it
Day.
was only me at the telethon, only me at running on stage saying it's the best fit, only me. You know what I'm saying? And this is the
Right.
first time they say, "Man, I know y'all got Ye pegged as crazy, but look at this documentary right here," which, mind you, is still up on Amazon, and ain't nobody
Yep.
talk to
Bezos.
old boy. Ain't
Yep.
nobody talk to Bezos or who the new CEO is on Amazon.
Welcome to
So
Getty
it's like
Gang.
we're starting to
This
realize
is
that that was
live
that
Kanye
one moment.
West. This
And
is live.
Kyrie, he really took that hit on, not on my behalf, but on our
Fair use
behalf
disclaimer
and on
for
God's
educational
people's
purposes. You feel me?
behalf. That you got to
Educational
see what
and
happened.
what's the
Not
other
that we was directed by Disney.
what's the
And
other
it's like, oh man, they
phrase?
came together on this thing I'm watching on HBO or Hulu or Disney. But in real life, that people would take a financial sacrifice for the truth, because the
That shit
truth will
is
set us free. Like, who is
for
Phil Knight?
what is it?
Ain't nobody exploited nobody
Teaching,
more than
scholarship,
Phil
education,
Knight.
and research
Are you
purposes.
kidding me? The
You
head of
feel me?
Nike, and it's so funny how
You
God
feel me?
God got a sense of humor for him, because he's now come and put money publicly towards the Republican Party, because the company he created is getting gang banged. And maybe that's not that Christian to say it like that, but Phil Knight, your company is getting gang banged. So go ahead and go on back to your house and walk 10 steps in front of your wife, like when I seen you in Palm Springs and you was walking 10 steps. How you told going a walk with your wife and you 10 steps ahead? I was like, see, that's why I don't like Nike. If this is the person that's setting the what do they call it? The environment or whatever. It's another word for that I'm missing right now. But the environment at Nike, of course, ask anybody that's ever dealt with Nike. You know, they treated people They didn't treat people good. They were treating me really bad when I had the Red October, and that's part of the reason why I ended up going to Adidas. You know, this is all related to Kyrie. This is where I'm going with it, but certain things just spark other things that I would like to tell y'all. I remember sitting in my mother-in-law's kitchen, and it was the same story that everybody got. My girlfriend pregnant. You know, I'm from Chicago. I ain't want to leave Nike. I grew up in a city of Jordan. You ain't never seen somebody draw so many Jordans on their sketch pad and go and look at the shoes, and the Scottie Pippen flights the purple and black ones was behind plastic because they ain't want nobody touching them too much because they wanted to still sell them. We be going to Champ Sports. This is when like the shoes jumped over when Nike got that air bubble or that different kind of foam at the bottom, and they jumped past Avia, and K-Swiss and Reebok because they was neck and neck for a while. And then they jumped, and then they made those pumps with David Robinson. They literally dropped the Maybach shoe. They had the nerve to have a shoe for $180 back then. Now I know that's a normal price right now, but for a kid, shoes cost $60 back then. But I remember that effect that Nike had on me. It didn't matter that people could buy that David Robinson pump or not. It affected me that at the point when Nike was treating me like how Chase was treating me, like how Adidas was treating me, that I was willing to stay with Nike because of how much I loved it, because of the value that we place on brands due to propaganda and it's just mental manipulation.
Shit.
Want to be like
I only wore Nike for forever.
Why every half the
I
numbers
just
in the
started
NBA
wearing
is number 23?
like Reeboks.
All
and
of
then I
that
had
is branding.
a pair every
Branding.
so often.
And then you get
95%
a brother
of the
like
time,
Kyrie, well-read information. And another thing, you take like Jalen Brown, you take Kyrie, you take a couple people, right, who they family is going to be all right no matter what. You know what I'm saying? I got a couple family members that might ask me for a loan here and there, but my family got jobs, right? So that means that I don't have to listen to nothing nobody got to say. If I want to get rid of all my money and go to like riding skateboards or driving Ubers for the rest of my life, I can do that. But you know what they go and do to the NBA players? They'll be like, well, what about grandma? What about your auntie? You don't want to go back. You don't want to be shamed. You know, because they got a position. They going to give you some type of job, some type of Shaquille O'Neal job for the rest of your life as long as you play the game. And with Kyrie, he got 1 year left. They question it like, will he even go? Will he go play basketball again? And it's interesting to me. I know you got a question later about Candace Owens. Man, you got to understand. Like in 1 week, I went in Trump, Alex Jones, and then I Elon. Like in a matter of 10 days, right? Where's the lies? You know what I'm saying? So, because everybody's beholden to somebody, right? And I got to say, I'm proud of Trump that he actually spoke up. And Ari Emanuel put something out that showed that I had stretched the limits of the idea anti-Semitism. So listen to this thing that Trump put up, I think it was this morning, right? So he says, how quickly Jewish leaders forget that I was the best, by far, president for Israel. They should be ashamed of themselves. This lack of loyalty to their greatest friends and allies is why large numbers in Congress and so many others have stopped giving support to Israel. He could have never said that had it changed in 1 week. It changed in 1 week. Because I went and I grabbed the third rail and I lived. I went as far as you can go. And I lived. Now let's open up the conversation and see that Jared Kushner was standing next to Trump the whole time, and Rahm Emanuel was standing next to Obama the whole time, and then Rahm Emanuel went to my hometown and destroyed that city. And what I liked is I was talking to a friend of mine
Welcome
that
to
just took
GEDDY
$30
Game.
million from Ari Emanuel.
He talking this
I'm
shit.
sorry, he ain't got money like that from a investment company that Ari Emanuel is associated with. And I heard they big mad. I heard he mad. I heard, hey Ari, you mad? You mad? Oh, wait, Ari, what you so mad about? Oh, because they keep on making you put them articles out because you at the lowest level of the power structure. Is that why you so mad, Ari Emanuel? Oh, what? Oh, how does the power structure run? Okay, we got China
Thank you
headed to
all for
be
being here.
potentially, if it's
Y'all
not for
better
Jesus
listen.
Christ, the new
He
world
said
order, the new
China
America. But previous to that, we
with
do
that
have
tech.
Christian ran families, the Medici, 1,000-year-old families. They sit above the Vatican. The Vatican sits above the financial groups, BlackRock and Vanguard. Vanguard sits above Putin, Kim Jong Un, Biden. And you know who's under all of them? Ari Emanuel, Hollywood. It is the first line of defense for the CIA for mind control. Come and get
Look at Ye.
me.
Hey, he talking shit. That's
my
crazy though.
other question for you is, what do you mean when
No, you understand? I said, come and get me.
That's
What I
crazy.
just said is far past anything anybody in my position has ever said publicly. You understand?
That's crazy.
So we just riding on God. Listen, I ain't got no security. Y'all know exactly where I'm at.
He know too.
shout out to that have a God on your
He
side? I
said I ain't got no
appreciate you.
You
security.
ain't lying about that. Drive me crazy.
Yeah.
That's too funny.
God got us because it's that time because they seeing it, right? They
That's
seeing
too
it.
funny.
And they doing it every time. I got this joke. I'm gonna just go ahead and tell it. It's very racist.
No. Not you racist.
Okay, I do the whole joke in the Chinese accent.
There you go. All
Okay,
right, let's go.
okay,
Let's
watch
go.
this.
Let's go.
Come on, man. I know you're gonna say it's very warm.
There
So
we
watch
go.
this. Okay, so
OG Patrice salute.
when I
Oh, man.
so when I wear the red hat, when Kim had the responsibility of watching me, they came to her and said, "Go get your nigga," and then Kim comes to me. The red hat, you got to take that off. You can't wear it to the White House. She said, "Look, my job is done. Mama, we out." You know what I'm saying? So then I go and I put White Lives Matter on a t-shirt. And they're like, well, we can't go get. Oh, you know what? Let's go get celebrities. Let's go get Puff Daddy. Let's get Dave Chappelle. Let's go get Meek Mills. What made somebody think Meek Mills could say something to me?
Laces Journey
So this is
salute.
the funniest thing amazing. Listen. Yo, man, I'm about to start crying, laughing, man. Somebody thought Meek Mills. Sorry, no, I'm sorry.
Meek's a
I'm not
gangster.
gonna get to my
Meek's a
joke.
gangster, gang. Meek is a gangster, man.
Somebody said I'm Meek. No, I'm literally in tears. So,
The world tour, your girl tour, right?
hold on. Yo, somebody's like, it's like Meek.
Yeah, tripping.
Hey, dying over there, me.
Okay,
Tripping.
Thank you for everybody being here. This is Kanye
Okay, that was
Live.
not my joke.
That's too funny.
That part was really funny to me.
Kanye always acting up.
Okay, so
100.
Salute WACK 100. Salute.
100.
okay. Hold on. Let me think of something really not funny for a second.
That's too
Okay.
funny. Hey, don't forget to like and
You know when you
subscribe,
have
though.
sex, you trying to think about something really
Like I
unrelated.
say, also the videos I'll be
really not funny.
watching and stuff. I go ahead.
Every time I
shout
think
out
about
those-
that, I
those
can't finish my
channels.
story. Okay, somebody thought they could get me.
Go like their content as well. Like I said,
Okay.
this dude
Anyway, so they say, Puff Daddy,
put out some
go get your nigga.
a lot of Clubhouse
Right?
content.
And then Puff calls me, with a wire on, right? And he's
clips.
just like, yo, I'm gonna beat up anybody with the White Lives Matter shirt. And then so that's why I hit him. I was like, yo, leave me alone, you fed, you work for Jewish.
Guess,
so then it was like, went to
Black
Ari
culture.
Emanuel, and they were like, yo, go get your nigga. And Ari like, bro, I don't really like, this man is like really just prep for war at all times. And I really, okay, all right, here I am. I'm Ari Emanuel. I want all the businesses to not do business with my name Ye, by the way. I want them to like not do business with Ye, right? And then they freeze, they debank me. Adidas sues me for like 200 75 million for marketing that we agreed
Welcome to
upon.
Geddy Game.
That was, I get into a longer story on that. And
Welcome to Geddy
they
Game.
freeze my accounts. They my royalty for the next 4 years.
Like I said earlier, man, I wouldn't know what to do.
$500 million cash.
I'd be mad
One
when I
more
lose my wallet,
zero
boy. I'd
than
be
Dave
wanting to,
Chappelle.
you know what I mean?
For the
Fuck
next
some shit up. So
4
I
years.
imagine.
That's what was in contract. If I didn't do nothing, if I just Yeezys, foam runner slides,
one
all
day,
that,
what?
And so
My shit
within
froze.
1 week,
What?
that's the whole thing. Oh, he lost $2 billion in a day.
Hot.
Then I went on Alex Jones, and I said, love everybody. I said love everybody because I ain't gonna say who it is. I ain't
like
say
I
what
was saying
doctor
earlier,
is.
also
Say
if
what
y'all haven't
hospital
seen
is.
that
Have been
Alex
trying
Jones
to make us
definitely
love
watch
certain
it.
things. Love the Grammys. Love
I'm not
Nike.
mistaken.
Love killing each other. Love opioids. Love strip clubs. Right? But it's like, no, you can't love this
dialogue.
person. You can't love. No, you gotta hate this person. This is a demonic figure. And you gotta hate this. So me, I'm like maybe a little bit autistic. I think I'm more autistic than I am bipolar. Right? I think that's an incorrect. I don't think I'm bipolar, but I am like an autistic person because you seen by me being on stage with Drake last year. Kendrick said he got more growing to do.
But I'm like,
I can't help but love. I love Ari Emanuel. I can't help but love. I don't have nothing but love. So then I said, I love Hitler, meaning I love everyone. It's for God to judge. It's for us to love, and that's to be Christ-like. And then our Emmanuel goes to his bosses in China and says, "What am I gonna do now?" It's like, and they like, "I don't know. We love Hitler too." You gotta understand that that's how China has taken over. They study his playbook. And so what I'm dealing with my accounts, when they didn't clear the Donny Hathaway sample for me yesterday morning, and it was I'm not gonna say what kind of I'm not gonna say what hospital it was. I'm not gonna say what it is. Was in between me and the Donny Hathaway estate, thus being in between me and the audience because I wanted to put my new music out. Now I can't do that due to the cancellation, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That playbook is the communists following parts of the Nazi playbook. So really, I'm the one, and it's Jewish people that actually are helping me at this point, right? There's people literally hiding me under their wooden floorboard because everyone's like, man, he gave an opinion. So this is a cautionary tale. Look at even Charlemagne. We be having our issues, and he had to say it out loud. He do it a bunch of times. He made Biden say what it really is out loud. We remember that. He made whoever that guy was on his show say what it really is out loud. We remember that. And he said, yo, but Ye said something, he lost everything. And everything meaning everything they gave us. Because God gave me. I know, some people say, oh, got you. Got it. Or like Drake said, Adidas has Kanye West, I think, right? And I'm like, ain't nobody had me since my mama. Don't nobody got me. Don't nobody had me, has me, none of that. So people take everything. And you can't take it away from me. It's too late. That energy, that soul, there's nothing they could do at this point. There's nothing we could do other than have a real conversation at this point. Because guess what? After all of that, we still ain't had the conversation about the contracts and what led me to the death contract in the first place. That's a reality.
So I want to get into the next question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Back? Oh, okay. So you have mentioned that the sacrificing of Donda, and I kind of wanted you to elaborate on what did you mean by that.
This is just an idea of something that I saw. Me seeing Michael Jordan's father taken away, Bill Cosby's son, my mom. I felt like these things happen to bring trauma and control to the black voices, the blood of Christ, the original voice, the voices that are controlled by the media. You know, oh, this could happen. This could happen to you. This can happen again. This is what we're going to do. We're going to make this sacrifice. And, you know, this is just,
Welcome
I
to
saw
Geddy
a
Gang.
pattern. You know, sometimes people say, oh, well, yay, what you're saying, that sounds
Welcome to
erratic.
Geddy
That
Gang.
sounds, I'm a producer. I see pattern recognition. I'm listening
Welcome
to
to Geddy
Otis
Gang.
in Paris sitting at the table with, you know, with
Welcome
Jay
to
and
Geddy
Beyonce
Gang.
and Dream and stuff. Virgil's there. And I just hear the
Welcome to
song and
Geddy Gang.
and boom, let me make that a pattern. That's one of my things of what gives me a neo ability to see the world in these black and green matrix screen ways is my pattern recognition. That's what makes me a Rain
That's
Man.
what's up.
And
Makes sense if
if
you ever
Rain
seen
Man
that
saw
movie.
those three things add up, he
You
said,
know what I
okay,
mean?
well, the
Some people
fourth one's
just,
going to be
you
Tiger
know,
Woods.
see things a little
And then
different.
the
That's
fifth one's
probably why
going
they
to,
say,
you get what I'm
you know,
saying?
a
There's a
little
pattern
autistic.
of that happening. So I think the word sacrifice is, and you know, I'm super Christian, but it sounds too, nothing can never be too religious, but in this really secular media world, they use religion um, to sound, and people always gonna write things off as sounding crazy. So, you know, guess what? It's up to people to believe the stuff I'm saying or not at this point. You know, pretty much it's right every time. So, and I still have the ability to speak, and that's why I did this morning, because the last thing I need to do is stop expressing myself, because God put me in this position to express myself. So I'm saying my pattern recognition says that that looks like there's sacrifices to major black celebrities in Hollywood.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Cap.
I appreciate it. I had a question, right? I followed you like from your first album up until now. On your first album, you had songs like Spaceship, you had Jesus Walks. Even in your song The Last Call, which I still play when I work out, you said, I played Jesus Walks for me and they wouldn't sign me. And so now, when you fast forward to 2022, you're extremely active with your belief. Is this something that you wanted to do back then, but you felt like maybe either the masses wasn't prepared for it or would be held back, and now you feel like you're in a position to bring it forward? Because I'm a fellow believer in Christ as well. Like, what made that change come to where you push it the way that you push it?
You know, just, you know, Jesus will break you down, and I would like to not be one of them cliche Christians that only call on God on Easter or when they at their lowest moment. But you know, it would feel like all those man-made possessions were taken away from me. And what I want to say when we talk about the accounts being frozen, that ain't got nothing to do with Jewish people. It has to do with the fact that I went on Drink Champs drinking and bragging about serving,
Philly King
not
salute.
serving Christ. If I say, oh, I'll buy a girl a house, that ain't what Christ want me to say, or want me to say with the money that he provided. Because to get that to be worth $11 billion, that's God. And God had to sit me back and job me and put me in that well for a bit until I told the world and used this position to say, Jesus is king. There is only one way. If you ain't talking about Jesus, you wrong, and you can't lead. You can't lead. Now you get some suggestions. You can work on this contract, but you can't lead. You can't lead until you follow, and until you follow the truth and the way, and that is Jesus Christ. And that's what I had to learn. And I go down there, you know, because I go into these places. I got a Napoleon. I got the short man complex. I got the Michael.
That's where
I
I
got the
first came
lawyer
in, I believe.
from Carlito's Way complex for sure. What are you talking about? I got pink polo next to Rockefeller. You know what I'm saying? I still don't like the way Top Tie used to look at me in the studio. You know what I'm saying? It just never left my mind. But you know, somebody just give you a look like, "What you doing here? Play a beat." But I gotta say, one thing is so funny. It's like nobody really had my back and supported me as much as Tata. Now he always gonna keep it real because this is one of the realest people. Like if anybody know Tata, this is one of the realest, most straightforward people. Like even Jay might keep it more politically correct, but Tata just gonna boom. He's just gonna say what it is, how it always is. But Tata got me on Jay-Z on the Blueprint too. I talked to him. I was like, man, Tata, you know, I got this chain and back in Chicago, man, I'm running around saying I'm on the rock, man. And if I don't rap on Jay-Z album, man, people, you know, they ain't gonna really believe in me as a rapper, man. And he went and got Jay to put me on Point Out the Bounce on the Timberland beat. And my rap wasn't even that good. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no Watch the Throne rap. But, you know, it's like he did that. Another thing is I always be talking about
That's real.
Jay Brown. I'll be having my issue with Jay Brown. We got this joke going back and forth where it's like he had this leather jacket, and this leather jacket had wool, but it had leather sleeves. And it made me think of like them leggings that girls used to wear, where it's like gym in the back but leather in the front. I'm like, is you going to the gym or you going to the club? Let's make a decision here, right? So Jay Brown had a jacket. I told him, yo, I want you to go on a flight. I want you to put it up in that compartment at the top, and I want you to leave it there. So, but and if you ever talk to Rihanna, talk to anybody, there's a whole email that I put like 12 people
You
on.
should have been interrupted him and
time, right?
well, I don't want to say interrupted him, but
he'll know exactly what jacket I'm talking about.
You know what I mean?
And I hope he left
went off the rails.
Leave that in the lost and found and don't find it. All right, but what Jay Brown did is when I had Stronger, and this is funny, this is like some proper music industry stuff. I had the sample, and he was working at Def Jam, and it was very important because it was so progressive, this idea. Mind you, I made Stronger because my fiance at that time liked Justin Timberlake a little bit too much. We was all bringing sexy back. I'm like, man, you just dancing too. You all up in the mirror to that, huh?
Welcome to Geddy Game.
You bringing sexy back, huh? You just... So we went and made Stronger, and I would play it, and she'd be looking like, you know, because I was kind of like a backpack rapper, you know, and she's like, yo, I don't know if people going to understand it and get it. And I played the song. I remember they had Nicole from the Pussycat Dolls coming in and just like dancing. Like it looked like she had the whole Pussycat Dolls with her just to that. But then my boy Ice Pick, rest in peace, from Rough Riders came in, and I played it for him. And he put his nose up. He said, the whole album gonna sound like that? And then I remember I was like, oh, I gotta get this song to a place where it'll play on Hot 97. We know we're gonna get the pop stations. This before, you know,
control
the first of my 30th times of getting canceled. So we knew we was gonna get the pop stations back then. But we had to make it for the black station. I put the song out. It didn't bang in the club. We went and got Switch to work on it, Pharrell to work on it. And then Timberland, we had to go to the person who made Sexy Back. He redid the drums. It took him 10 minutes to do it. And then for the next 2 hours, he just talked about couldn't nobody do it but him. Can't nobody do this but me. You came to the right place. I'm the only person that could do this. Right here, I'm just sitting there, just listening to him.
Hey,
like Pusha T would have to listen to me talk for a long time. Well, like how y'all have to listen to me talk for a long time right now. I think I'm doing my therapy today. I've been going through a lot. But anyway, I want to say Jay Brown went and there was someone who had the sample also. He went and bought the song to ensure that the first time you heard that was from me. So me and Jay Brown have our differences. Like he got a difference. Like he feel like it's okay to wear jackets with leather sleeves and wool bodies. We agree to disagree. But he has done a lot. You know, this stuff is like funny to me. I'm one of these people that you can tell obviously likes the sound of their own voice. And by the sounds of being the top 5 streaming artist of all time without no album out, hundreds of millions of other people do too. Did that answer your question?
G salute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now my next question.
Somebody told him like,
wait a second. He didn't sound energized on that though.
No.
I want you
No.
Get him, Jay. Get him, Jay.
No.
Oh, shit, y'all.
I want to do a follow up, but y'all know Ion's going to answer.
No, do the follow up because I want your energy level to be high.
Okay, so my follow up, I follow like the Israelite belief. And so the reason why I asked you that question about your path is because I love that journey. I see you're switching. And then from watching the Drink Champs video, you made a statement to say that, you know, we're the Jews too. So like, where did that part come from? Was it something that you learned from like the Jewish people, or is this something that you learned from your own side? And where do you intend to take
Welcome
that
to
part?
GEDDY Game.
You know, when I went on Alex Jones, is interesting. He talked about this. It's so funny. You wouldn't expect Alex Jones to
Alex Jones
specifically
did say
back
it,
up
but
that thought and that theory.
I don't know. Sometimes I'll be low key thinking like
I
some of
would
this
read
stuff
the
like,
Bible. I'm looking at the location of
you
the
know what I mean,
Bible,
kind of set up like
and I wouldn't visit it
like Alex Jones saying that. Like,
Wwntv,
I don't know if
and
he's
I'm getting
said
different
that
people's
before. I have to
perspectives
look
on
into that if he
Christ.
said that or
I have
believe that
my boy
before,
Mickey
you know, Kanye being on
also
his show.
shares these same beliefs.
I'd
And
be interested in looking
my
into,
question
you know
is,
what I mean?
why are we the only
Like I
people
said, I
that
feel
don't
like
have a
some should be
flag?
like layups, like, you know what I mean?
Well, obviously, our existence was erased. Those slave ships was real, bro. You know, we are the Jew, and they are Jewish, like that of a Jew.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, you wanted to hear that? I'm already canceled, right? So I can say stuff like that. I want to make sure, because it was important. Even though we're not face to face, I heard in your voice that that Timberland story that I tell all the damn time was not that funny to you. You was trying to get into some like you was trying to get into like a real conversation. We trying to line up in front of the stadium right now. And people, my thing is, you know what? There are truths.
He's trying to bring
There are
more
truths to the
people
relationship.
to come.
Stereotypes
That's what I
exist
think he
for a
mean by
reason.
that.
There are
Like,
more
taking it slow right
Chinese computer engineers and Indian
If
computer
this is
engineers than there are of other races. You know, there are more creatives in the entertainment field than of other races that are black. You know, certain stereotypes exist for a reason. That's why they're around. Like everyone's trying to like homogenize the new world order us and not have us look at the heritage of where things come from. Something that I heard that for Christians out there is that the Bible describes dinosaurs as dragons, because that's something in the indoctrination school known as Sierra Canyon that they do to make your kids come home and be like, well, Dad, well, you know, what's up with the dinosaurs? So we're saying the importance of history. And if we know where we come from, we can know where we're going. And there's all these overlaps where history repeats itself. Like certain stuff where I go through dealing with Yeezy and Skims and all that, I'm like, man, I feel like I'm in a Gucci movie right now as we speak. Like even this thing, like why was Corey Gamble sent into the Kardashian Jenner family? Mind you, Corey Gamble was Puff Daddy's nanny.
Watching it by this time.
Right? And then Corey Gamble was next to Justin Bieber
all that,
when
feel me?
When he was getting in trouble.
I like to have a discussion on some of the videos that I do.
Bruce Jenner turned to Caitlyn Jenner, here go Corey Gamble.
You know what I mean?
Why is that? Because if you see
really
me and Kim, and I'm doing an easy fashion show, and we got the most visibility of all time, then the richest man in the world would offer me a deal,
hopefully,
and then take the deal away from me, and then hire my best friend and make him the head of Louis Vuitton. Right? It was all to keep us like at the Ari Emanuel entertainment level.
Just trying to get comfortable.
Because we stay
on
the path we're going. We get to Medici level. You go above that.
The pauses.
You go above
Vanguard
and BlackRock. But right now, Shorty got an investment firm that's half with. My question is, why are we the only people that don't have a flag? Well, obviously, our existence was erased. Those slave ships was real, bro. You know, we are the Jew, and they are Jewish, like that of a Jew.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, you wanted to hear that? I'm already canceled, right? So I can say stuff like that. I want to make sure, because it was important. Even though we're not face to face, I heard in your voice that Timberland story that I tell all the damn time was not that funny to you. You was trying to get into some like, you was trying to get into like a real conversation. We trying to line up in front of the stadium right now.
I kind
And
of wanted
people, my
rewinded a
thing
little too
is,
far, but shit,
you know what?
it
There
is
there
what
are
it is.
truth. There are truths to the relationship. Stereotypes exist for a reason. There are more Chinese computer engineers and Indian computer engineers than there are of other races. You know, there are more creatives in the entertainment field than of other races that are black. You know, certain stereotypes exist for a reason. That's why they're around. Like everyone's trying to like homogenize the new world order us and not have us look at the heritage of where things come from. Something that I heard that for Christians out there is that the Bible describes dinosaurs as dragons, because that's something in the indoctrination school known as Sierra Canyon that they do to make your kids come home and be like, well, Dad, well, you know, what's up with the dinosaurs? So we're saying the importance of history. Um, and if we know where we come from, we can know where we're going. And there's all these overlaps where history repeats itself. Like certain stuff when I go through dealing with Yeezy and Skims and all that, I'm like, man, I feel like I'm in a Gucci movie right now as we speak. Like even this thing, like why was Corey Gamble sent into the Kardashian Jenner family? Mind you, Corey Gamble was Puff Daddy's Manny. I'm sorry, right? And then Corey Gamble was
Manny.
next to Justin Bieber when he was getting in trouble, right? And then soon as Bruce Jenner turned to Caitlyn Jenner, here go Corey Gamble. Why is that? Because if you see me and Kim and I'm doing an Easy Fashion show and we got the most visibility
You should have went
of
into
all
why
time,
Bruce Jenner
then
turned into
the
Caitlyn
richest
Jenner.
man in the world would offer me a deal and then take the deal away from me and then hire my best friend and make him the head of Louis Vuitton, right? It was all to keep us at the Ari Emanuel entertainment level because we stay on the path we're going, we get to Medici level. You go above Vatican. You go above Vanguard and BlackRock. But right now, Shorty got an investment firm that's half with, I'm not going to say what hospital is. You know, I'm not going to say what the doctor is. It was a juice. So,
No surprise.
but that's the thing is you got to understand the Armenians work in the meat packing district and the Jews work in the nigger packing district.
Mm.
The Jews are used by the Chinese to control the blacks. They just middlemen. They'll sell anything.
That's real. That's real. I mean,
Come and
Definitely.
that's
get
real.
Definitely.
me.
Yeah, you definitely get the juice right now.
Yeah, and I think that's where it stopped. If I'm not mistaken, I think the live continued after that, but I think that's for the part they ended it, it cut off or whatever. If I'm not mistaken, if I am mistaken, we'll get into the rest another time. But for now, you know what I mean. I feel like he kind of rambled. You know what I mean. Started to ramble a little bit. You know what I mean. He did end up finishing the story or whatever, but I feel like it could have went on for too long. They could have in kind of intervened and threw in a couple of more questions. You know what I mean throughout. I would have loved to hear his thoughts on a couple of other things. You know what I mean, but it started off good. Then he went on rambling and stuff like that. So shout out to Kanye. You know what I mean. Best wishes to him. Um, Looking forward to what he, you know what I mean. Like I said, if this wasn't the end, you know what I mean, we'll get into it tomorrow or another time. Um, but looking forward to seeing whatever interview or show that he's on next, just to for him to give his thoughts on some of the stuff that he believe on, what's going on in the industry, and how everything operates. I think the insight is good. Um, get a better understanding of how things work, and hopefully we can figure out a way to navigate around that. But yeah, great little interview. Would have loved to hear more. But it is what it is, man. We probably go over. We could have probably went over a couple of other Kanye clips, but I think we'll do it at another time just to see if we do come across more. Um, but thank y'all for watching. Um, like, subscribe, comment, all that other shit. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on this gentleman page as well. I wish I could have actually went into to his channel. But thank y'all for coming. Have a good night.